Here we go again, another episode of Two in the Cooler. Oh my gosh, folks, thank you guys for tuning in. And if you want to do something to support the show even further, you can actually do something nice for yourself and check out the merch that's going to be at snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. Okay, we've got hoodies on there, long sleeves, also very cool stuff like mugs, fanny packs, water bottles, bucket hats, and the t-shirts. And these t-shirts, these are not those shitty-ass shirts that you're getting from other people, you know, where they can buy them real cheap and then sell them to you for a huge markup, but then, you know, you do buy them and it fits like a cardboard box, and you feel terrible wearing it and your entire day is ruined. Nope. At snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com, the t-shirts on there, let me tell you something. Tri-blend material. That's 3 blends of material all together. It's spectacular. Softest t-shirts in the world. I love them. And if you want to check all that stuff out, again, you can check out snackspot.se/creator/teespring.com. The link is going to be in this episode description as well as in our Instagram bio. Get yourself something nice, something that's going to make you look good and feel good and support the show. Folks, if you're like me, you hate going to the grocery store because the parking lot is a mess, and then you get in the building and people are running their carts into you. Nobody looks each other in the eyes. It's a terrible, terrible place. You never can find anything. The good news is you don't have to deal with the grocery store anymore because you can use Instacart. Because with Instacart, you can get not just groceries, but some of your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your front door in as little as 1 hour. The best part is, right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $10 or more. All you got to do is spend $10 and Instacart will deliver whatever you're looking for right to your front door. No charge, okay? You don't need to be wasting your time at the grocery store. Make life a little easier on yourself and start using Instacart today. And if you're interested in advertising on this show or our twin show Schemin' and Dreamin', email snackspotsports@gmail.com for details on how you can start reaching thousands of listeners in the Buffalo area and beyond. Large companies have started advertising on podcasts as the whole podcasting thing is blown up. Companies like State Farm, Tropicana, Walmart, McDonald's. I heard a McDonald's ad on a podcast the other day. That's fucking insane. It's kind of cool to see these large advertisers move away from, you know, more traditional media or whatever, because all that stuff sucks and nobody watches it. But the problem is it doesn't leave any room in the podcast advertising space for smaller local businesses. But that's why we're here. So if you're interested in learning more about all the benefits to podcast advertising, again, reach out to us at snackspotsports@gmail.com.
Wow, you're too minty?
I'm a little minty.
You can't take that deep breath in?
No, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, it gets cold. Don't drink that water. That water will ice your mouth out.
I like that, though. That's the kind of pain that makes you stronger.
So I drink room temperature water all the time.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I have to leave. When I get here, I have to take a water bottle out of the fridge and I put it next to the fridge so that it can heat up for Matthew when he gets here later.
Big North Tonawanda energy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Listen, wow, that was... Yeah.
Having been in this spot for this long, that is a huge insult.
But we're right on the border of TNNT here.
Are you guys from North Tonawanda?
We're from the Falls. Yeah.
We're from Wheatfield.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I tried to say the Falls. You know, it gives us a little more credit.
When
you say
I know, but that's why. But I don't want to.
Why are you saying it like that?
But I don't want to.
No, we tell the truth on this podcast.
Fiction.
Exclusively the truth.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Abe Lincoln's son's boat.
No, that's bullshit.
Robert Lincoln's boat. I can't remember what it was called, but it's in the history books. Folks can look it up. But yeah, there's like I was saying, the Canal Side was a couple weeks ago.
Canal Fest.
Gotcha. Right, I always say it wrong.
Yeah, because Canal Side's in the city, which is more reputable than Canal Fest.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I mean, dude, it was a.
It just looked like tetanus.
It was just a white trash hurricane, and we were right in the eye of the storm. It was brutal, and
I went to the Erie County Fair on.
Oh, really?
That's really bad.
Saturday.
Yeah.
They have kangaroos there though.
The Erie County Fair has my number.
I heard. What do you mean?
I'll get to it.
I mean, you're drinking warm water, so that checks out.
Yeah. Here's my thing about the Erie County Fair. You have to find a place to wash your hands at least every 5 minutes. I have a theory about fair food too. I only eat fair food that comes on a stick, anything on a stick, because then you don't have to touch it.
I guess that checks. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but
that seems like a good safety pattern to follow.
Carnival games are like what God invented to destroy me. Because
do you have a gambling problem?
No, I have a confidence problem. Like Andrew, like if I look at something and I see just anybody try it, whether they succeed or fail, I'm like, I could do that. I guarantee you I could. There's no physical way that I cannot do that.
And then you don't.
And then I have spent like $200 on carnival games, and the only prize that I won was out of a claw machine.
Brutal.
That's a tough look.
Little Jurassic Park dinosaur, though.
Nice. Pay you back for that one from when we were kids.
Shout out to the purple dinosaur.
Carney.
Have you been to the Syracuse one?
I have not.
The State Fair in Syracuse.
That's where they hold it. You're from
that's a big
Syracuse,
one.
From here, I went to school out in Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
And it is truly a great place. Because the Amtrak will stop at the fair, but it lets you off in the grass, and you have to walk around the whole thing. It's like a 2.5 week event, and there's wine slushies. There's live cattle auctions. It's everybody you don't want to see in New York in one place, all eating and drinking way cheap.
Sounds like
I saw Florida Georgia Line at the Syracuse Fair.
See, that's a good concert. They had Riley Green.
It's not a good concert.
Riley Green was just. Slightest. I like Florida Georgia Line. I've seen them in concert many of times.
Jesus Christ.
That's. I've seen them in some really cool concerts.
They were the free concert. I also saw Kesha at the Syracuse State Fair, so that great concert. Was tight. That was cool.
Wow.
Yeah, Die Young, one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah.
I would say top 3.
I didn't realize people were still making the rounds at these state fairs so much.
Fairs are big.
Nelly was just at the Erie.
I think he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's either the 17th or the 18th.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I don't know.
How long is the Erie County?
It's long. That one's
week.
Okay. I think it's longer.
It might be 2 weeks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's long.
Until they run out of fried dough.
Yeah.
God.
And I accidentally walked into a live cattle auction not knowing what it was, and I ended up in just the exact wrong place. I walk into this building, no clue what it is. It's just big open doors. So I walked right in, and all of a sudden I hear somebody on a microphone, but I can't find the person on the mic. And then instantly it smells like goat shit, and sure enough there's goats everywhere.
Goat shitting.
Yeah. No, goats everywhere. Yeah.
Did you buy one?
And that did I? No, I should. I talked about it. I don't know how much goats go for.
Yeah, that's what I was
thought
wondering.
It would be more funny to show up somewhere with a goat, and I think it would have been well worth it for that
and
first.
Try to sell it.
No, for that. If I walked into my apartment and my roommates were sitting there, and I just walked in with a goat on a leash.
Well, there's definitely not a goat clause in your lease. That's for
sure.
No,
I guarantee you,
so you get away with
my
it.
lease,
huge oversight.
And that's funny. But then what happens once that's
then you have a goat. Then you have the responsibility of a goat.
Yeah, I can't take care of a goat.
But for years you get milk, you get cheese.
And we know you like it warm.
Do I have to pasteurize
it? You can drink it fresh. I'm pretty sure you can just drink it straight out.
No, you can just, you can go straight
shouldn't I pasteurize it?
I don't know.
I think you should.
I don't know how any of that stuff works. They didn't pasteurize stuff for a long time.
I don't think it tastes good,
or something
though.
Like that.
Straight out. I think it's like,
it's like
body.
Really?
It's like body temp.
Yeah, sure. But again, the temperature is not a deterrent for you, obviously.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like hot milk.
It's not like I drink hot water. Yeah.
It's like
Flip side of that, warm milk is warm milk is what you drink to go to bed.
But it's like 98-degree milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
98 different. Yeah. That's like not microwaved.
Milk. Yeah. That's very warm milk.
That's a hot piece of milk.
Have you ever milked a cow?
No.
Have you ever milked a cow?
No.
No, I never milked a cow.
I'm from the suburbs.
I've never milked a cow either. But I think it would be worth it to try one time.
I think it's difficult.
Yeah, I think it's hard
because you gotta get the grip right. Yeah.
You're not just it's like a this kind of thing. Like you have to kind of put pressure,
2 hands?
and then I think you have to use 2 hands.
Do they teach you that in Wheatfield?
2 hands, 1 udder.
2 hands, 1 udder.
No, I think it's just one, but it's like a. That motion.
Yeah, slow it down for me.
Like, how much pressure do you apply when you...
I think you got to do, a good amount of pressure. I think I have to imagine that a cow being milked feels like when you take a good shit. Like the pressure relief that you get from that is how cows feel when people milk them. Because if cows don't get milked, I've heard or like seen on TV shows or whatever, they like it like hurts them
Because it doesn't go
milked.
away. It just keeps.
Right.
Backs them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need some cow laxatives.
Well, no, you don't shit out the milk.
No, I know, not literally, but to just let that milk loose.
The concept.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
concept of a cow.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Then nobody would ever have to milk them. You could just make them live on grates, like like sewer.
I think
grates.
that's how they live
they would just
in like
space
the
it.
farms.
Yeah.
And they would just.
They're
milk
not just out
themselves.
walking. They're pretty unhappy.
Yeah. But
No, they're hooked up to those some crazy
Milker
machines.
machines.
Yeah, milker machines.
Yeah.
This is what the podcast is about, right?
Yes,
just
cows.
milking
Just-
and farm stuff.
Mostly farm
yeah.
stuff.
This is an agricultural podcast.
Oh God! When I worked at the CBS station in Rochester, there was this show that would air at like 4 a.m. called Ag Day on Sundays, and it was like this hour-long program. And the host, his big segment was tractors. It was like every week he would find a different old tractor,
That's
and then he
pretty
would
sick.
just talk about it. I'll tell you what, some of those tractors, I don't know anything about tractors, but like,
Have you ever driven a
alright.
tractor or like rode on tractor?
no, never
That's
done
a
any of
good
that.
feeling.
I've driven a tractor before. It's a lot of fun.
It's honestly really cool.
Yeah.
They don't go fast at all, but you're just like, I'm powerful. This is
Yeah.
what,
No, you
is
can
what
do
I
it.
was
Yeah.
meant to be.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I would love to buy a tractor. Again, don't have it. See, that's why I should. If I would have started with a goat, eventually I would have needed a
You
tractor.
work your way up to tractor.
100%.
That makes sense.
And then I just.
That's the logical
Start
step.
a
You
farm.
buy the
Yeah,
goat
yeah.
before you buy the farm.
I wouldn't mind a farm.
Someday, just looking at that, go someday.
Someday,
Someday
there's going to be
we're-
4 of you.
Yep.
And I'm going to have a little tractor, a little John Deere IH over there.
I don't want to put in the work to have a farm, but I think it would be cool to own a farm. You can go there when you want.
You just want the benefits of a farm without having a farm.
Yeah. I don't really like
What?
vegetables, though.
Like carrots? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's because they're cold?
Yeah. I don't like them steamed.
You got to heat them up.
Yeah.
Just rub them together real fast.
And they have sensitive teeth, so. That way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
I do. I don't like drinking cold water. It hurts my teeth.
What about ice cream? Do you do other cold
Oh, I
things?
love ice cream. But ice cream is one of those things where you
Just
just
suffer
power through
through.
the pain. Yeah, I had a great ice cream experience last night. It was there's an ice cream place around the corner from my house. Closed at 9, and I did the classic drive up at like 8:57, and order. They have screamers. They're called screamers. They're just blizzards, but you can't call them blizzards.
Right.
And it's just build your own. You can put whatever you want in there. And I usually get hot fudge, and then I sample. I get chocolate ice cream with hot fudge, and then I sample a new type of topping every time. And I went Reese's Cups last night, like the full ones, not the little ones, and it was fantastic.
Wait, you do chocolate and hot fudge?
Yes.
You just double chocolate it?
I love hot fudge.
I get the hot fudge. I get the hot fudge, but I would do like vanilla hot fudge or something.
The only time I've ever gotten vanilla was when they were out of chocolate ice cream, and I said, "Can you give me like a lot of extra hot fudge so I can just turn this into chocolate ice cream?" And they did.
Yeah, chocolate on chocolate. That math checks out to me.
It's just a
Yeah.
lot of chocolate.
It is.
Yeah,
it
but
is,
it's not like
that's
a
what he's looking
rich
for.
chocolate.
Because I
You know
like
what I mean?
I like chocolate,
Yeah.
but I would want to like kind of space it out.
He doesn't have an
You'd
advanced
like to
palate.
devise.
I
have
see.
a very
I'm gathering that.
I have a very advanced
Drinks
palate.
warm water, doesn't like
Exactly.
vegetables.
It's not warm. I don't heat it up. It's room temperature. I don't like
Room
That's
temperature, which
warm.
is usually not cold.
No, but it's like no. But you know when you leave a water bottle in your car on a hot day and then you come back to it, you're not
Yeah,
gonna
and
drink
then
it's
that.
gross.
and
Yeah,
then
that's
then I
disgusting.
proceed to dump it out.
Yes, that's disgusting. I would not drink that. I will not do that. I don't like cold water.
It's got to be utter hot.
No.
Body
Fresh
temp.
out.
Body
Too
temp.
warm.
hot.
Body temp
temp's
hot.
too warm.
You just gotta put it in your sweatshirt pouch. Let it get a little toasty
Yeah.
in there, and then you're all right.
I keep it in between my thighs.
That'd
while
be
we
a good
record.
poll. I feel like you're probably not alone on it. You're definitely not in the majority, but you're probably not alone in like who drinks warm water versus cold water.
Because I don't sip on water. I get
You
thirsty
chug
and then
it?
I just hammer water.
Why?
You can't chug cold water like that. Why is this so ridiculous?
I don't know. That just seems like an insane way to hydrate yourself.
Not at all.
Because you're
Just
supposed
like
to,
all
you're
at
supposed
once.
to space it out because your body can't absorb water like that quickly.
Well, I'm thirsty a lot. Like I drink a lot of water.
Yeah, because you're doing this weird incremental water.
No,
chugging.
I don't. No.
You're not consuming any fiber, so it's just running through.
It's only warm water. And
If you get like, is it like no vegetables at all? Caught you had a weird
No,
time
you
there.
eat vegetables.
it depends. I like Caesar salads. I like any type of salad.
Specifically Caesar, which is like iceberg lettuce.
Yes. No. It's really iceberg, and then like romaine hearts is pretty much as far as I go into the greenness of lettuce.
But like, if you got like a thick green lettuce on a sandwich, you're not gonna take it off, are you?
See, I have a take on lettuce on
gonna-
sandwiches too. I
bet
like
you do.
lettuce on my any type of sandwich,
Oh.
burger, cold cut, whatever it is. I like lettuce, but it can't be too much lettuce. You know when you get a burger from somewhere and there's like 5 giant pieces of lettuce.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I'm like a one lettuce kind of guy, and it's usually like
You'll
the
leave it on.
crunchiest. Yes, I will leave it on
Because
And
I know
I'm-
people that'll like take it off, and it's
No,
like, we're in
no.
public. What are you doing?
And I love tomatoes. I think people that don't like tomatoes are crazy.
Do you like cherry tomatoes though?
I love cherry
I hate
tomatoes.
cherry tomatoes. Do you like cherry
tomatoes across the board are
I
no
could
go
eat cherry.
for me.
I could eat
All
cherry
of them.
tomatoes like
Yeah,
candy.
all tomatoes. And
What
I'll tell
about-
you why. It's just like a thick
I'm about to
slab
dummy
of
your
water.
ass. I'm about to dummy your ass.
Go for it, kid.
I know for a fact you love watermelon.
Yeah, of course I love
Watermelon is ass as far as fruits go, especially as far as melon goes. Have some
What are you
cantaloupe.
talking
Be
about?
a man. Eat
I
cantaloupe.
think we
no,
touched the sore
no.
subject.
I do not. I will. That will forever probably be one of my hottest takes is that I don't like watermelon. Do you like watermelon?
I like water. Yeah, on
Yeah,
a
of
hot day, a
course.
good watermelon.
No.
He likes it. You got to heat it up for him.
Right, it's got to be room
It's gotta
temperature
be
watermelon.
room temp
I like to
water.
leave it in the sun. 4th of July party around 8:30, 9 p.m. is when I finally crack
Squeeze
the
all the water
watermelon.
out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Just
Make sure
chew
it's
on
dry
it.
as a bone.
It's
Mhm.
gross.
Cantaloupe, honeydew.
I don't like cantaloupe at all.
Terrible.
Yeah.
They're for like
Honeydew sucks.
those are all for old people. Honeydew, I don't know who honeydew is
No,
for.
honeydew is one of the worst fruits as far as like commonly found fruits. Because if you get a fruit salad, there's always honeydew in it.
Yeah.
And nobody eats the honeydew.
Or that like white melon that's like cantaloupe adjacent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which
Because honeydew's
It's-
like green, isn't it?
yeah, but
There's like
there,
that weird like there's the cantaloupe, this thing, honeydew.
I think
And it's just
Yeah.
I can't do it.
some type of crossbreed. Probably the bees.
the bees.
It's always the bees.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
Yeah. I'm not,
Don't kill the bees.
Yeah.
No, we can keep the
No,
bees.
nobody needs
We
to
gotta
keep
keep
the
the
bees. How are the bees doing, by the way?
Not well.
I heard
They're
really
still
good.
they're still on the they're still doing bad.
Yeah.
I can't
the
believe that
problem
was like,
is-
hey, the bees are going away and nobody
The
cares.
bees.
It's the same thing with fucking aliens.
Well-
Nobody. Hey,
No, I'm passionate about aliens. But the problem with bees is we can all sit here and say how much we love the bees, but what's the first thing you do when you see a bee in your house?
you killing me.
You're like, I have to fucking kill
But
this
that's
bee.
the same thing with like all bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
That's,
Like-
yeah, but if you went into the bee's house, they would also try to kill you.
Exactly. It's just people being
Survival
where
of the
they're not
fittest,
supposed
and
to
we
be.
are currently happen to be more fit than the bees,
Sure.
except for those killer ones. But those are a different story. 'Cause I doubt they pollinate. They just murder.
Yeah. It's cool that those like the way that the regular bees figured out how to like kill the murder hornets.
I didn't know they did that.
Did you know this?
The European ones,
Yeah.
but not the ones in America.
Do we have?
Oh,
I thought
the bees here didn't figure it
I
out?
thought the murder hornets
'cause
never showed.
the hornets aren't native here,
Right.
so the bees never had to learn that.
But I thought that was the whole thing. It's like the murder hornets came over and everybody was like, "Oh fuck, here we go," and then the bees figured it out.
Because I also thought that, but then it turns out the Africanized bees and the bees that like are in Europe and Asia know how to kill the hornets, and none of those bees. Some of the Africanized bees are here, and they're the ones that are killing it. But like the bees that we see every day haven't quite got to that evolutionary step yet,
that seems
because they've never had to deal with it.
Yeah.
But now, like it's happening in real time. They're figuring it out, but they're not.
Okay, but
They're
it's
not
not
winning.
why it's not widespread.
That
yet.
seems very
They're still losing battle.
government conspiracy esque to me.
What
Have
are
you
you
seen those
talking about?
hornets?
The murder ones?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Aren't they like this
they're
big?
like that big. Yeah, dude,
It's crazy.
they're huge.
Yeah, I don't have a desire. I'm not saying we should kill the bees, but I don't like bees. Like I have a big problem with
Well,
bees.
not
Because
those
they
And
make
for
vegetables.
for whatever reason, bees love me. They love me. They just they find me. They just hang out. They buzz around my head 24/7. Room full of 30 people. That bee's coming after me 10 out of 10 times.
You're just so sweet.
That's the podcast, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Emily, just turn it off. Shut it down. We have to have a conversation about bees.
I don't get how that plays into a conspiracy, though, Matthew.
No, my conspiracy. I didn't get into my conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
Bees aren't real.
My conspiracy was that it sounds like the CIA or somebody of that nature decided that these murder hornets were going to be a problem and smuggled some African/European bees back into the United States to
teach our bees how to do it.
Because I understand how, you know how when they're
That's
like bugs
pretty-
are an invasive species. I understand how some bugs get like from point A to point B, right? On, ships or whatever. But bugs that fly, to me, it seems like they would never get caught in one of those situations. Like,
Well, they get on the fruit.
yeah, they
Not,
do all
like a
that
lot of the
stuff.
fruit isn't from here. The fruit's from like
they
other
get on the
places,
fruit.
or on like livestock.
One
and
sentence,
stuff.
one sentence, and the argument crumbles completely.
Broke his entire.
No, okay, the fruit makes sense.
Because that's how like the spiders and like
Yeah.
even like the birds and stuff get here too.
Yeah,
It's just with the fruit.
the fruit. So we should kill all the fruit.
It's
No, I don't think so.
Mostly starting with watermelon.
No, come on, man. You're on the wrong side of that one. You got to know. I
Watermelons are
bet
tight, dude.
I bet you watermelon's like the top fruit.
It's up there, but I
Some
don't
people
get how
like.
you can say that you don't like tomatoes because it's just a thick slice of water when
I'm just making that up. The real thing
It's
is
literally
like,
a
but the thing
more
is like
tomatoes
you
are a
put-
more flavorful watermelon.
What about like fried green tomatoes?
I never have tried those before.
You gotta go to like a soul food restaurant.
Yeah.
Or like a tomatillo or something.
What's tomatillo?
A tomatillo is like it's in the tomato realm,
Yeah.
but it's not quite a tomato, and you slice it up and you fry it up. It's
Oh,
really good.
okay. I got you. It's like the
It's like a green tomato, but a little thicker.
Sure. Oh, okay. Like, fuck. What did you call it? A tomato?
Tomatillo.
Tomatillo? A tomatillo is to a tomato what a plantain is to a banana.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Damn.
I was my
Yeah.
my mind instantly went plantain as well.
I'd probably like that. I've liked like the fried okra and stuff that I've
Yeah.
had. That stuff's pretty good. But tomatoes, it's almost the same thing as like a pickle. Like I don't like pickles.
You don't like pickles?
No, I don't like pickles. I appreciate pickles for what they are, but I don't care to eat them.
I
And
like what you're doing.
no, I'll appreciate. Look, game respect game from a distance. What pickles are doing is fine, but I don't like a pickle because when you put a pickle on a plate or on a burger, the whole thing becomes pickle. Like if somebody put one on my burger and I was going to take it off, might as well just leave it on there because
Sorry, hold on. Did you catch it?
No, it's a fruit fly somewhere around here.
it knows you're talking shit.
It's right in my.
I understand what you're saying about the pickle, but I raise you. You just haven't had a good pickle yet. Have you had like the little French pickles, like the little guys,
No,
like a cocktail pickle?
those look disgusting.
They're the best kind of thing because they're little. You can pop it in, all
Sure.
done, and like they soak an onion and like capers and all that stuff. It's not that bad.
All right, I got you. No, I appreciate
It's
the
a little.
pop.
It's like
I
a
the
classy
pop.
pickle.
Yeah.
What about flavored pickles?
That
Flavored-
just sounds. I mean,
Flavored like what?
Like people make like
like
spicy pickles,
Oh.
stuff like that.
No,
That's
straight
that's
pickle.
for those guys outside
100%.
in the concert right now. There's a lot of spicy pickles floating around. If you know
There's
what I
a
mean.
lot of something going on out there.
I'm not a big fan of pickles myself, but I also will not go out of my way. The majority of things that I eat now at this point in my life are because I will no longer go out of my way to order things special.
How old are you?
24.
And you've tried everything.
No.
I feel like you're closing yourself off at a very
No,
early
I said
age.
I'm not. No, that's the opposite. Like I won't. No, I mean like I wouldn't ask when I say that. I mean like I would never. I can't go somewhere and say like, can I have this without that? on it?
Right.
I got you.
Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
substitutions.
No, I see what you're saying.
because I that to me is more embarrassing than me having to find a way to like something.
Sure.
Yeah, people like if I'm at a restaurant with somebody and they're getting like a bunch of substitutions, it makes me anxious. I feel like you're bringing down the table. Like you're making us all look bad.
But you're also putting yourself up to fail. You know, because if you get like a couple swap outs, like, oh, you don't want cheese, you don't want lettuce, like that's fine. But like if you swap out like too many things, it's like something might not happen,
right?
And then that's gonna get brought to the table, and then you're gonna be mad about it. But you played yourself.
And does it not seem like Subway to me is the biggest culprit of this? You go to a Subway, you probably did
what?
this.
You pick it all yourself on the way.
You go to a Subway though, and you order your sub, and they're like, what kind of vegetables? If you're like a no vegetable guy, if you're like you're probably just lettuce kind of guy, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I like lettuce and onion.
Okay. Well, onion mixes it in. But I feel like if you're going to go to a Subway and order like not a lot of vegetables on your sub, they sit there and wait for you like, this is all you're getting on your sub? Like, what else are you putting on?
Yeah, because
like,
it looks insane.
There's a stigma.
If you get a chicken bacon ranch and all you have is bread, chicken, bacon.
That's true. People who don't even get
bonkers.
lettuce, again, those are the folks outside eating the spicy pickles.
But I would rather lettuce than tomato.
Sure, but as long as you get...
Especially shredded lettuce.
I'm saying if you don't get any vegetables at all, you're
not okay.
No, you
to me, shredded lettuce
probably
doesn't bring a lot to a sub, though.
No, it doesn't.
No, but it's
just like a Caesar salad.
Yeah, exactly. It does its job, though. It's not bringing a ton to the table, but it's dependable.
It adds a little crunch.
Yeah. And that's all we're asking it to do.
What about cabbage? How do you feel about cabbage? Like cabbage on a taco?
I'll tell you exactly.
How I feel about cabbage.
See,
hey, yo, fuck
cabbage.
cabbage.
I'm talking to cabbage right now.
like Lloyd's is the perfect example of this.
Yeah.
I love the nachos at Lloyd's. Like, Lloyd's has good food. I cannot get a burrito from there because I just feel like it's 80% cabbage. I just don't like it.
I think you could ask for less cabbage, though.
No, I definitely, but that comes down to what I'm saying. Then I have to stand there and ask for less cabbage. I'd rather
Do all of them have cabbage in it?
The only one I've ever had does. It was only one time, and that's all it takes.
That's
for me.
the rule.
Too much cabbage on their burritos. I'll just stick to the nachos.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I feel about cabbage. I'll eat corned beef and cabbage. That's warm, soft cabbage.
So you just didn't like the cabbage in the burrito because it was cold.
Yeah, cold and hard.
Could you heat up this cabbage for me, please, before you put it on?
Can you boil this cabbage, please, and then put it on my burrito?
I brought my own cabbage.
Yeah.
It's preheated.
I wouldn't put that past people. I've seen things like that go down, but
I've seen like bring your own sauce, but not like bring your own addition.
Right. Yeah,
because that'd be if we all went out and you sat down and you said, I'm gonna put this rice on my burrito, I would walk out the door.
Like if I pulled a bag of rice out of my pocket.
If you pulled out a cucumber and started cutting it up and putting it on your salad,
bye.
Yeah.
But like if you're like, I brought this hot sauce, I'd be like, that's fair, that's fine.
That's true. Interesting.
I don't know.
You know what? I guess because the hot sauce comes, like, if you bring a bag of rice, you made that rice and put it in a separate container.
With a purpose.
The hot sauce is just ready to go.
The hot sauce, like the hot sauce is just like that specific place doesn't make a hot enough sauce for you. You're adding to it.
Sure. And
Done.
like, we know that you didn't take any extra steps to bring it here.
No, it's just
so
in
it
your
doesn't
bag.
seem that
Right.
weird.
Yeah, see,
It's people who try hard that are the problem.
one of my roommates in college, great guy. But
except
when we would go to, we'd go to the dining hall for lunch or dinner, whatever it may be, and they had condiments, but they only had Heinz condiments. So their barbecue sauce was Heinz. And
Heinz isn't a good barbecue
He would not eat Heinz barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
So he would walk around all day with a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's in his backpack, just in case we went to dining hall. And he would pull it out, and when I was with him, and I needed barbecue sauce, like I would use the Sweet Baby Ray's because why wouldn't you? But it seemed
Just out of his
to me a little bit too far to keep it in your backpack at all times. And he was whatever he went to school for was way more advanced than what I did. So he was always in like labs, and he was at school all day long.
Yeah, he had to be ready.
He wasn't going home.
You stay ready.
In
you
between
gotta get
classes.
Keep that thing on you.
So it was just in that backpack all day long. And imagine one single slip and all your notes for the year either ruined or smell like barbecue sauce every time you need them.
That's a risk you got to take every time you step out into the streets, into these barbecue sauce streets. Yeah. I was listening to an episode of your podcast today.
Yeah.
With Adrian Lick?
Aiden.
Aiden
Licker.
Lick? Oh, Aiden. Jesus Christ.
Here, let's run that again.
I was watching. That was something else I was watching. Sorry.
Adrian Lick on the hub.
Um.
Yeah, with Aiden.
Yeah, man. So you were saying you do it out of John's basement?
Correct.
How long have you guys been doing it?
It's August, June.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure because there's only a couple of episodes up there, but I wasn't
Correct.
sure if you had like some backlogged. Or
Yeah, everything that's been published right now is backlogged. It was one of those really cool things where in January, John was like, "Hey, do you want to do this podcast?" Because I had just come back from Spain and I was going to be in town for a bit, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." And then John has a full-time job. He's an electrician, and he's like an apprentice, so he's like still studying. So he's busy all the time. And I was like, all right, well, I'm really free right now. And he's like, I'm not. And then I wasn't free and he was. And then it was just like finally by the summer because his school had let out and I was just freer. So I was like, let's get this cracking. Yeah. So I think we have like 8 filmed maybe. And we put them out. And that's why we put them out every other Tuesday is because like we're both just on weird schedules. So it's easier to kind of delay the release by a week and spread it out until we can get kind of more of a set schedule going.
Yeah, that's one of the toughest things, but I guess it does make it easier when you're actually in the country.
Yeah.
How long were you in Spain for?
I was in Spain from September 2018 until December 2021. So about 3 years. Wow. Just over 3 years.
Okay, got you. So
Yeah.
did you start I mean, what were you over there for? Just hanging out?
No. Yeah. No, I wish.
Just drop by Spain for a bit.
Just for about 3 years.
I was teaching English for a couple years in Madrid, and then I did my master's in Sevilla, and then I was interning in Barcelona, and then came back, and now we're sorting out some visa stuff to hopefully get back soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it like more difficult over there like right now to get a visa than when
It's
you went
just
the first
difficult
time?
all the time.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just like it's one of those things where it's just like you have to once you're in the country it's easier to do visa stuff, but I just ran into a bit of a weird situation where it was like, oh, this might take 7 months to do from here and I can't start working, or I could go back to America and do the visa from here, and it's a little bit easier that way, but it's just a bureaucratic mess, paperwork and signatures and
Sounds like
nonsense.
a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff makes no sense to me.
It's really bad.
Where do you even start?
To get a
Like,
visa?
is there like a website?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few. You always have to have a reason. Like you either have to be studying, you have to be working, you have to be married, you have to have something to back the visa need. Like, because you can go over there. Americans can go into most of the European Union for 90 days without a visa. You can just show up and hang out, but you can't work. You can go to the doctor, but like, you can't really go to the doctor. Like you can go to the ER in case you've hurt yourself or just feel like it.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, but you have to pay. But it's way cheaper than here, which is tight. Yeah, I mean,
Very cool.
Like in Madrid, I rolled my ankle and I thought it was fine, and then like the next day, I like put weight on it and I almost fell over. My friend was like, "I think you broke your ankle," and so I spent 6 hours in the ER getting X-rays, and it cost $0 because of like the insurance. And I was like, "This is sick," because this would cost thousands of dollars in America,
Right.
for just being a jabroni.
Just rolling an ankle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, jabroni incident?
little-
Yeah, that's taken care of.
No
You-
charge, no charge.
You're covered. You're covered for jabroni.
Yeah.
So now he just goes to the ER for fun, gets X-rays for fun, because
Exactly.
you realize that it doesn't
It's
cost
fun.
anything.
Hey, everybody's doing it. You
Yeah.
got to spend, you see the... You see
He
the
really
sights
he's
and
really into the
just
Dem
act
Bones song, so he just likes to see where everything goes together in his own body.
Yeah. You're right. Like that.
That really?
Yeah.
So that's the joint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spain's tight though. Spain's fun. It's a cool place.
Yeah, I've never
Ah.
been.
No. I think we were maybe going to go
We've had
with
the
our parents
opportunity.
one time, but Matthew is afraid of flying. We were going to go on like a family vacation over
Warm
there.
water.
That's
no
true. Dude, you would love it
vegetables.
over there. They don't put ice in
Yeah,
anything.
no ice. No ice.
No ice,
Here's
man.
the thing, and I've actually I've heard you talk about this a little bit. I don't like airplanes for many reasons. One, they're not comfortable. Two, it's petrifying because you're in no control
I
of any
disagree
situation.
with both of those.
But that's the best part is that you're not in control. Someone else is in control.
Yeah.
You gotta let
so
it
you
go,
just blame
man. You gotta
anybody
let it
else,
ride.
man. No, I don't.
Have you ever flown?
Oh yeah, I fly often. I just don't like it.
And what do? Do you just sweat the whole time?
Literally, like hands, feet, every other part of my body, just like clammy and sweaty for the whole like 3 hours until I land, and then I sit there and I relax during a layover, and then I panic again for the next 2, and then I'm at my destination, and hopefully I'm there. Like 3-day vacations. I again still do, but they are somewhat my worst nightmare because
Because it's
so
quick
much
turnaround.
plane time. Yeah.
because by the time you get there
You have to get
and
back
you
on the plane.
decompress, your mind is already focused on like what time do I have to get back to the airport. Yeah.
See, but at least you can fly.
Yeah, I accept that I have to do it, but that's my problem with going, like somewhere overseas or to Europe is I don't know how I don't want to put myself through that much stress for that much of an extended period of time.
But that's the nice thing about, like, when you go to Europe, you're never going to Europe for like a couple days. You're going to
Yes.
go for weeks.
Yeah.
So you have enough time between everything.
Yeah.
To
To
kinda-
relax. Yeah. Yeah, a week is
Drink
good.
some
like,
warm Coke and
Yeah. No, I don't
Relax
drink.
a
I
little.
don't drink everything warm. This is getting out of hand.
I don't
There's
know. That's
Salander.
I like
That's not
some
what I
cold
heard.
things,
uh,
and I love the winter time.
They have a drink on like the southeast part of Spain. They have a drink where it's like a half a cup of wine and then you fill it up with Coke.
oh, what do they call that? Is there
It's
a
a
name
crazy
for
name.
it?
It's like Kamachi or something.
Yeah.
See,
It's not good.
Interesting you say that because Andrew will regularly, like if we're going out to dinner, we'll get to the restaurant. He'll
He'll pull
Get
out
a
his
Coke.
own little wine bottle.
yeah. Brought my own
Bonjour.
one. Yeah. And his own Coke.
Well, I didn't have to put in an extra bag, so it's fine.
Yeah. He'll bring out a Coke, or he'll order a Coke, and then we'll, be seated and we'll start our dinner, and then he'll order wine. And as he finishes his Coke is when he starts to drink his wine. So he likes to mix those two tastes in his mouth as is.
No. I drink
There's no
things in
palate
natural
cleanser.
order.
There's no palate. It's just sugar to.
Sometimes you
Yes,
switch.
sugar, essentially.
Sugar.
But that's what people like is out like sangria, because sangria is like a red wine with like a yellow lemon Fanta and like some fruit and stuff in there. So you get really sugary.
Oh, okay.
See, I can do
Yeah.
some sangria. Also, you want to know what is usually drank warm is red wine, and you drink a lot of red wine.
Okay.
So stop
Yeah,
making
but
fun of me
that's
for
like
drinking
I
things
think
warm.
red wine is classically drunk warm,
And
is.
also, it's
whereas
not.
water's not.
It's
I mean,
still
if we-
colder than your room temperature.
No.
water. Yeah.
Red wine is not colder than the temperature that I drink this water bottle.
It
at.
absolutely is.
No, it is
It's still
not.
chilled.
Like 64
Not
degrees. That's
cold,
what
but
this
it's-
water probably is.
I don't know. I don't have my thermometer on me right now,
Or a bottle of red wine.
or a bottle of red wine.
About 66, I would say, in that particular bottle. I'm not
could
drinking pool water. Like even 80 degrees would be too
Drinking pool
warm.
water. Good. But yeah, Spain's tight.
Yeah, I've never been to Europe at all, but you're trying to get back there then.
Yeah.
So, did you start stand up right when you got back from Spain?
No, I started in Spain.
Okay.
In English. So I basically, the stand-up story, I technically, on paper, did my first show February 2020 in Madrid. And because a friend of mine there, Jake, is a stand-up comedian, so I would go to his shows like every week, whenever he had a show, I would just go because he could get me in. He was my friend and all that. And then I was always just like, oh, I'll start stand-up, I'll do stand-up. And he was just like, just shut up and do it, or shut up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. So he got me on a show, and I did it, and it went well, which was ideal. And then I was booked on another show, which was March 14th, 2020, which was when Spain closed for the good old pandemic. So it was canceled. So I didn't get on another stage until October 2021. So then I only say that I've been doing it from like October,
Right.
because I did one and then nothing for almost 2 years.
But you were still around. I mean, I imagine you still have a fairly good idea of like what doing comedy is like in Spain because you're around your friends so much.
100%.
What is the deal over there?
It's fun. It's really cool. It's cool because like in Madrid there's a pretty good scene, but in Barcelona there's a really great scene for comedy.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like it's weird because you're doing comedy in English. They have comedy in Spanish, comedy in like Catalan, comedy in French, comedy in whatever language you want. I don't speak those. And I was like, I do speak Spanish because like I've been there for 3 years. My whole master's was in Spanish. Like it's just, but like Spanish humor is different from American humor, and like some people translate their jokes and sometimes they work. But I wanted to get the English part down first before I started doing it in a different language.
Yeah, fair.
So you're doing it in front of people who it's a range of like native English speakers and non-native English speakers. And it could be like their first, their second, their third language, you know? You never know, you know, because Barcelona being such a touristy town, you get a lot of people there. You get a lot of, like, and like a lot of companies are headquartered there. So there's a lot of people from all over the place there. And so when you're writing jokes and when you're telling jokes, you have to be aware of that. So you have to like kind of slow down the cadence. You have to slow down your pacing, kind of over-explain at times, so that the premise gets there. Because like the quick American, like a quick New York style joke might not.
I'm telling you, this fruit fly is a menace.
You didn't catch it.
Yeah.
You have one job. Like the quick New York kind of jokes might not always hit because you're talking too fast, you know? So you have to kind of, and there's also jokes that like I have jokes there that don't work here, and I have jokes here that don't work there, just because of like the subject matter. Like I had a joke about the Sagrada Familia, which is the huge Gaudi church that's been under construction for 120 years, and I kind of changed it a little bit when I first started doing it back in the States, just to kind of see if it would work here, and it just didn't. It like I don't know. I tried to change it about the Bills, and it didn't work. It just like the premise only worked with the church,
Right.
you know, and it's stuff like that. And like you would, if you do like a joke that's very American, like about American stuff, they don't get it unless there's Americans there. Like I talked about Aaron Carter once, and like 2 people were like, "Oh yeah," and the rest of the room was like, "Who the fuck is that?"
That's pretty good for an Aaron Carter joke. I imagine that's not too bad.
It's rough. It's not a good joke. But then it's like, and then you do stuff here. Like I've talked about Europe. I tried to do a joke about trains here, and in America, everyone's like, "Oh, fucking on trains." What do you
Yeah,
mean?
not many people ride trains anymore.
No.
That's what that.
No, I got it. Yeah. What about like, how do you play off the crowd when you're like, is that an experience that you've had? Like, how do you imagine you work with a crowd?
Like doing like crowd work?
Yeah,
like
doing
talking?
crowd work when you're like,
You got to know a lot. You got to know a lot of stuff. And it's like, you know, obviously you have to know a lot here, but it's like there was this one guy, and I was like, you know, like it was November, and he was wearing shorts. And it's not cold in Barcelona in November. It's maybe like 50, but
It's pants weather.
that's pants weather.
Yeah.
And like the summers are so hot that like once it gets below 60, you're like, okay, I'm used to the heat now. It's cold.
Especially
I'm gonna wear
in
pants.
the fall. If it's spring and it's 50, you get a little leeway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was wearing shorts, and I was like, why are you wearing shorts? And he's like, I'm from Sweden. And I was like, oh, that's your summer, you know, because he's from the pole, the Arctic. And it's just like he kind of said some stuff that I was just like, in my head, I was like, all right, well, I can't joke about that because I have no idea what you just said to me. You know, and it's like the other day at a mic here, this girl was like, you also get like some, if you ever meet a European here in the States, I'd like the Europeans if the Spanish government's watching. But sometimes they're a bit snobby about stuff to Americans because they just assume we don't know anything. And like this girl was at a mic, and I was, you know, the jokes were going all right, but I like just messing around with people. So I was like, where are you from? And she said, Germany. And I've been to Germany. I've been to a lot of different parts of Germany, spent a lot of time in Germany. So I'm aware of stuff in Germany. And I said, where are you from in Germany? And she said, where do you know in Germany? And it's like, ma'am,
Yeah.
Yep.
just tell me a place, and then I'll get to it.
Yeah.
You know?
If I don't know it, I'll just say I don't know it.
Yeah,
Like,
if I don't know it, I'm going to make a joke about it, you
Yeah.
know? It's like, and then I was like, all right, we're all done. And I moved on. And then later I found out she was from Hamburg. And I was like, I spent a week in Hamburg. I know stuff there. you ding dong. Just be more open. I don't know. It's fun though, but it is definitely like people will say stuff, and you're just like, I have no idea what that means. You know, like I met a French guy, and I was like, "Where are you from?" He's just said a town. I was like, I wish you went to Paris. You know, like I wish you said anything else.
You got to miss me on that one, bud.
Yeah, that's okay. But it is fun. It is fun because like you meet everybody. Because the whole world it's the same thing like in New York. You know, like you meet people from everywhere every day. Like I did comedy. Some of the people I did comedy with people from Spain, people from the States, people from the UK, from Ireland, from Russia, from France, from everywhere. And it's really cool to see like, and they're doing it like they're doing comedy in English and it's their second language. And it's like, that's wild that you have such a grasp of a different language that you can do that. You get the humor in it, you know, and it's fun.
Yeah, that is something that we're sorely lacking.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd never thought about it because I've never watched anybody do comedy in a different language, but the way that you said it, whereas like not only knowing how to speak it, but understanding the humor in it and like how to use it in your advantage to be funny
Exactly.
is got to be difficult. I also don't speak any other languages, so
seems like the same thing as like rapping in another language, because like you can say the same thing, but the amount of words is going to be different, and like the length of those words is going to be different, so it changes the pacing
and
Well,
the,
hitting the rhythm,
everything.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, the
Yeah.
pronunciation.
So it's crazy. But so you said they have a pretty good scene like in Madrid and Barcelona. Is it the kind of thing where like people from like some of these Russian guys, whoever you're running into, did some of them come to those cities specifically to do comedy?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
No one that I met so far. But it is just like, well, the ones that were doing it in English, no. The ones that were doing it in Spanish, too, yes. Because
Okay.
Spanish comedy in Spain is huge. You know,
Right.
that's their comedy. English comedy is just, you know, it's still big, but it's not the main moneymaker. And same with like in Barcelona, they speak Catalan natively. That's like the language of the region. So like they have comedy in Catalan, and which in Barcelona and a little bit of the Balearic Islands, they speak similar. They'll tell you it's different, but on paper it looks pretty close.
He
So,
loves
like,
the Spanish government, though.
I love the Spanish government. But it's a huge, like there's radios that are only in Catalan. There's TV shows that are only in Catalan. There's comedies that are only in Catalan. Same with Spanish. Like Danny Rivera is a comedian from Malaga, and he speaks, I know he speaks English because I've heard him speak English, but he really only does stand up in Spanish and makes movies in Spanish. So it's like people do go to the major cities for comedy, but not necessarily for English comedy.
Right, it's more specific to the region that
The
they're
language of the region.
going in.
Correct.
Okay.
So, but speaking Spanish and also, you know, enjoying comedy, do you enjoy watching Spanish comedy or like going to a show that's in Spanish, or is it a little bit different?
It is different. It is now that I speak Spanish better, I enjoy it way more. Because like right before the lockdown, I had a moment like the Joker. Did you guys see the Joker?
Yeah.
Joaquin. You know, it was right when it came out. Because in Spain they'll show it in English with Spanish subtitles, and they'll show it in Spanish with Spanish subtitles, like dubbed over. And the English ones are version original, and you gotta kind of look on the page really closely before you get there, because they'll show both of them at the same time sometimes. So we bought tickets to what we thought was the version original, and we were sitting there, and you know like the opening scene where like the camera's panning in over Joaquin's back and the radio's playing?
Okay, yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, oh, the radio's in Spanish. Maybe they just changed that. And then Joaquin turns around and he starts saying it. I was like, oh, no. And it was all dubbed in Spanish. And I was like, all right. And I was with a couple friends, and we were like, you know what? We speak Spanish. We speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And I'd been there for like a year and a bit at the time. And I was like, here, dude, we can do this. And so we watched it, and we were like, that was a really good film. That was awesome. And then I got home. I came home for Christmas that year, and I watched it in English, and I was like, that's a different film.
Completely different
That's
movie.
You know the scene where It's Joaquin, the little guy and the big guy in his apartment, and then he ends up shooting him in the face.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were having fun. I genuinely was listening to that, reading the subtitles like, they're having a great time. And then I heard it, I was like, this is incorrect. This is different. They're not having fun. They are not friends. There's a few scenes in that I was like, I misinterpreted.
Yeah. Makes me want to watch a movie in Spanish just to watch.
I've thought about, because our cousin was fluent in German for a while, and the big thing that helped her was she would watch the Gilmore Girls in German, and then she picked it up. So I've thought about, because you can like change the language on Disney Plus for The Simpsons. Yeah. So I thought maybe I'll just watch it all in Spanish.
Well, that was during so I was taking Spanish classes basically starting my second school year in Spain. I was doing it twice a week for a couple hours. And then once the lockdown hit, I was like, all right, well, now I have nothing to do. Mm-hmm. And so I watched all of How I Met Your Mother again in Spanish. And like that really helped. And I was watching just Spanish movies and like listening to Spanish like talk shows and things like that. And like that definitely, because then you hear, because like going to Spanish class helps you with the grammar, but then like actually hearing it and seeing it, but seeing different dialects, seeing different accents, and hear everything really helps you pick up on it a lot faster.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because I remember, being young and like taking Spanish classes, and I was good at Spanish from a school perspective, but like somebody would start talking to me in Spanish that actually knew Spanish, and I'd be like, I have no fucking clue what's going on.
We went on a cruise one time when you were probably in like,
I had
you must have been in
grade.
Like, yeah, okay. I was gonna say 9th grade, and
ninth.
we went on this like moped tour of
we were in
Cozumel,
Mexico.
Yeah. So we're just like flying around.
Yeah.
Like you go outside of where the Margaritavilles are and stuff, and there's a fucking kid with an iguana on a leash. So we're like cruising, and one of the scooters breaks down. But there's this gas station across the street, so we don't have.
It was more of a blanket store than a gas station.
A blanket store?
Yeah, that's what they sold. I was in there.
No, they had Oreos.
They didn't have gas. It wasn't a gas station. Yeah,
blankets and Oreos, but
it's Cozumel. That's all you need, man.
Yeah.
And so we went across the street with our dad to see if we could like use the phone, and our dad's like yelling at Matthew, like talk to him. Like, don't you take Spanish in school? Like you should.
Hola, senor.
Yeah. He's like, tell him the moped has a flat tire, and I was like, that was not on our test.
¿Cuál es tu color favorito?
And I didn't even end up saying a single word to this guy. I just was like, and he handed me a phone.
Yeah.
And they did like one of these and like a point, and the moped was sitting right there.
He was just like these three white guys.
Yeah, fucking idiots. Yeah, he did not like us. I can guarantee you that. And then they came and picked us up, took our scooter home.
But that was the same thing. Like I took Spanish from like 5th grade till I graduated high school, and then I was in Ecuador on my sophomore year of college, and I was like, I speak Spanish. And then someone like a Ecuadorian started speaking Spanish to me. I was like, I don't know anything. Because they just speak it, they just speak it like it's because it's their language.
Yeah. And it's like that's the thing is, we obviously comprehend what each other are saying, and we can talk fast, and it doesn't matter. When people start speaking fast in Spanish specifically,
it's just a wall.
It is one big word.
Yeah.
Yeah, one long breath, and then I'm clueless. But that's why I tapped. And now I have not retained a single, like I could not even.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't use it, it's gone.
Yeah. I used to be so good at like doing stuff with verbs. That's a big thing in Spanish.
Conjugation.
Yeah, conjugation. I was a master conjugator, and lost it all.
I haven't heard the word conjugate in like 5 years.
Yeah. Well, you took Latin.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. A-R-E-R-I-R.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That happened during my master's course. I was reading some paper or something for a class, and I texted my friends, and I was like, I learned a new Spanish word. And they're like, what is it? And I was like, almuñécar. Almuñeco, almuñecas, almuñeca. And they were like, oh, you mean Almuñécar, the city outside of Granada? And I was like, oh, you fucking idiot.
New word. I would have been in the same boat. That's the problem is
There's also just so many words.
Yeah.
So many tenses. Spanish has so many tenses.
Yeah, tenses. And like if you're trying to say like yo soy, like if you're trying to say what is that, like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're trying to get into like that, like describing things,
sure.
shit gets it goes off the rocker fast, very, very fast.
Yeah.
To
We're
you,
done.
I'm sure it makes sense now, but to me at the time, when
It's
I was
still
learning,
it's still like hit and miss sometimes. I'm like, I have an entire degree that I did in Spanish, but I still can't order food correctly sometimes.
Wow.
it's better than like nothing makes me more mad than when my dad insists on like when you're at like a Mexican restaurant and he insists on like pointing and saying it 3 times to make it clear that he doesn't know what he's saying, but he tries to pronounce it differently a different time every. Is this and it's like just say what you think it is. I guarantee you they know what you're talking about. They
There's
do
a number
all
next
day
to
long.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
Although I would probably do that same thing,
Like
because for some reason I want them to know I'm trying.
You're making it. I feel like that's worse. I feel like they're
think
just
so?
like, yeah, it's like you're sounding it out and you do it 3 times and you sound it out differently every time.
Tortilla.
Yeah. Just say the damn word.
Tortilla. But that's the thing though, like where I've traveled so far, like to Chicago, New York, and Texas and stuff, everyone somewhere speaks Spanish, so I'll just pull it out and get some stuff out of it.
Oh
The
yeah.
old
Yeah.
secret menu stuff.
Yeah, see that. Yeah,
That's tight.
that's really why I want to know how. Like, that's would be the best part about knowing how to speak a different language. Like, there's this guy. I don't really know him, but he's buddies with one of my roommates, and he is from somewhere in Germany and speaks like fluent German. And him and all his, but they came here to play sports and go to college, and they went on a vacation, like a spring break trip to like an all-inclusive place somewhere, and they ran into. It was, a group of like 20 dudes, and they had been drinking all day, and they were being very obnoxious, like trying to get a new card for their hotel room or something like that.
Right.
And a group of college-age girls walked past them and started talking shit about them in German, like not realizing that they were all German. And it's just the way the story plays out. It's pretty much like these girls walked past, like saying like, fuck these drunk assholes, like imagine being them, like what a bunch of losers in the lobby of this hotel. Yeah, yeah. And they understood the entire thing and just got humbled by it.
Damn, that's brutal. Yeah, when that happens to you, you just got to like slide over there and then say something real quick in German and then walk away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, don't like make a scene like, why'd you say that? Just be like,
guess what?
Yeah. Fuck you.
Guess what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
What was it like being over there when everything shut down?
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah. So March 14th, 2020 was when Spain closed officially. And we were only supposed to close for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. And we weren't, the rules, the thing is like, my parents were always like, why didn't you just go on a walk? And it's like, because our rules were so strict. It was like, if you didn't have a reason to be outside and your reasons were going to the grocery store, going to the pharmacy, hospital, or because you were a caretaker, or if you had like a approved job, so like police, trash job, people. Yeah, that's the word, essential. You had to stay inside. So for 80 days, the only reason I left my house was to go to the grocery store. And you wouldn't go every day, because if the police see you going out every day, they're like, all right, you're doing this on purpose. So you can only really go out once a week. So it was just like, I was just inside for a while. And
what was the living space like? Was it an apartment? Like, did you have some room, or was it?
I mean, it was a 4-bedroom apartment.
Okay, at least it wasn't a studio.
No, and I knew people that were, and they were just like, I'm gonna off myself, and I was like, that's fair.
You should think of it. You should do that.
Go to the grocery store, man.
Get an avocado.
Well, that's my birthday was during the first quarantine, and it was just me. I lived with 4 people. The one guy was from Rome, outside of Rome, and on the 13th he left. He skipped town because he was doing dentistry school in Madrid, and they were like, we're canceling all in-person classes. So bye-bye. The other girl, who I'm still friends with, is from outside of Madrid. So for the 2 weeks, she was like, I'm just going to go home to my mom's place, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, bye. And then the other girl was an American who was also teaching. And so I thought, I was like, all right, I can hang out for 2 weeks. It'll be fine. And then it was just like, oh, okay, we're going to go for another 2 weeks. Oh, okay, we're going to go for another 2 weeks. And it was just me and this girl, and she's nice and all. But when it's just you and one person, Oh. And the thing is, I was teaching for the school I was teaching for. Like, I made PowerPoints and did some classes and stuff. And then I also taught online for a different company that was for kids in Asia, mostly in China. So I was kind of double working, which was great because I wasn't spending any money. I was just sitting in the house all day. Yeah. Her job, unfortunately, no longer needed her. So she was just hanging out in the apartment and got to the point where her sleep schedule was the opposite of mine. So I was up all day because I had to work, and she would just stay up all night. So there were like days that would go by that I wouldn't see another person. And it was weird because there was another person
living
in the apartment. And it was just like, I always knew when she was up because I would smell coffee because she would make a coffee in like the little mocha pot thing. And I was like, okay, Erica's up. I can go interact with a human. Yeah. And like my friends lived like a few blocks away from me. So we would like schedule trips to the grocery store. Like you couldn't stand in one place for too long because the workers would yell at you. But you could just like buzz by and be like, are you okay?
How you doing? Yeah.
Hello?
A drive-by in the vegetable section.
Basically. It was just like you go up and you're both picking the carrots for a minute. It's like, oh, are you all right? I'm not. It was wild though.
Yeah.
It was just like because I went from the school that I worked at was about 30 minutes north of Madrid. So I went from getting like 20,000 steps a day to 500.
Oh my God.
Like almost overnight. And like if you look at like my pedometer meter thing, it's just like huge bars. Poof. It's just like, hey Max, you might want to go outside. I was like, I can't. I can't.
Fuck you, Fitbit.
Stupid. Yeah, it was crazy. There was one time before Easter, the Thursday before Easter, because Spain's a pretty Catholic country, so stuff is pretty closed around Easter. The Thursday, though, I thought stuff would be open. So I went to my grocery store, the one that I liked, the cheap one, and it was closed. And I went to a different one, it was closed. And I went to a different one, it was closed. And so I was on my way back to my apartment, just with defeat, and a police officer saw me and pulled over, and they got out and they took my my visa, my ID and everything. They're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just trying to buy some food. And they're like, well, it's Easter. And I was like, I see that, but it's Thursday. Yeah. And they were like, well, stuff is closing early. And I was like, that's unfortunate. And he's like, where do you live? And I was like, just like, you could see my apartment from where we were. And I was like, just up there. And he goes, okay, like you can go. And I was like, how much would it, like, what would have happened if I didn't live right there? And he's like, it's a 400 euro fine for being out without a reason. And I was like, that's it. Wild. And that's the thing too, is like, because the lockdown here, I'm not really aware of any lockdown. And my mom was like, why don't you just go out in the yard? I was like, I live in an apartment in the center of Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't have a yard, Linda.
Go swim in a fountain somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And like people were like, oh, why just drive to the park? I was like, I can't leave the front door.
Yeah.
Like even taking the trash out, you're like, am I gonna get stopped?
To bring in your visa to carry it out to the curb.
Keep one piece of trash on your way back just to prove, like, man, I was throwing out the trash.
Yeah.
Well, that is wild because like you just didn't have the groceries that you went out for. Like, yeah. You did go out, but you didn't have.
I just didn't have it.
So
I had
like,
the bags.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
He had his reusable
bags officer.
Yeah.
It was
Wegmans,
weird.
man. You ever heard of Wegmans?
And it was just like it was one of those things where like in Europe and in Spain there's a big distrust for the governments, because of the whole World War thing.
Oh, gotcha.
So like the right wing people are huge out there because they, they're doing really well right now, I guess. And so in April or May, kind of May, end of April, beginning of May, we could start to go outside again, but it was regimented. So like from 6 to 9 a.m. or 6 to 9 or 6 to 10 p.m., something like that. People who were 20 to 60 could go on walks within 1 kilometer from your house. And then from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., 65 or 60 and up and like under 20 could go outside to kind of stagger so not everybody was outside at the same time. So we would just like, it was just like, okay, let's try to get outside as much as you can. And I would just, you have a kilometer, which is not, it's, half a mile. Yeah. And you're just trying to like do as many steps as you can, do as much as you can. And also like just see people and just get out there. And it was so awesome just to go outside. Like it was raining one day and I was like, this is dumb. I'm still going outside because it's like you can't waste it because that's your only time to go. You know, if you don't wake up early enough, which
You
happens,
missed your outside time.
you miss your outside time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you
That's
miss-
called prison.
Yeah, you miss your yard time. But the old people, the right wing people, is predominantly the older people. They didn't like the restrictions, but they followed the restrictions, which I thought was nice. So they would at the nighttime, outside time, nighttime yard time, they would bang pots and pans from their windows as a sign of protest. So the old people are still in their house, but they're protesting. And I was like, that's awesome. That's respectable. You know,
Yeah.
like I acknowledge your protest, but I'm still going to walk.
I'm gonna take my 4 hours right now while
I'm
you're
gonna
inside.
do this lap real
and
quick.
I'm gonna take this 0.5 and enjoy
so
it
you
the
had
best
all
I
these
can.
old Spanish people like banging pots at you when you were getting your
Yeah.
fresh air for
Were
the day?
people
Yeah.
throwing on like fake beards and stuff and pretending to be in their 60s and just to get a couple extra hours?
Oh, man.
Sorry,
Remember
man.
that thing that happened over here during the pandemic where like 16-year-olds were like dressing up like old people, and then because they had the mask on, they went to like buy booze and stuff.
Yeah, they wouldn't get ID.
Yeah.
Geniuses.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That's-
we definitely
Just
didn't
putting
have
on a
rules like that.
disguise is funny though.
I had moved back in with our parents because I was still in college at the time, and all my, I had 9 roommates, but they all went home. Everything was over. So
it was done. Yeah.
yeah, so I went home, and when it started, it was still March here. Like the weather's not particularly nice,
No.
but after like 2 or 3 weeks is when you could, they would let essential workers work in restaurants to do takeout.
Yeah.
And so that was like, that would be what I waited for all day. And I was on your roommate's schedule. I'd wake up at like 3 p.m.,
Yeah.
scroll my phone for like 2 hours, go upstairs. We'd search every takeout like menu within 40 minutes of here,
Yeah.
pick a place, and I would go pick it up. Like that was the highlight of my day, was going to pick up that takeout, and then
Right, because it was a reason to do anything.
Right.
and then because then you'd come back home and eat, and then it would be like 7:30, and I would get on Xbox and then play Xbox till like 3, and then watch at least one movie, and then it'd be like
Night-night.
5:30, and then I'd go to sleep till 2 again.
Yeah. That was like the thing, like when we could finally start going to the restaurants again. I think it was probably like May or June at that point. You would go into a restaurant and you would just see stacks and stacks and stacks of food because they got all their deliveries in March and then had to close. And you couldn't go back to the restaurant. So they just had all this wasted stuff. Like if it was a perishable, it was probably gone.
Yeah.
And like, you would go something for, I don't understand why, but there's Tim Hortons in Madrid.
What?
I don't know. It's not a big hockey city. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think there was just like a rambunctious Canadian that went over
Yeah,
there.
probably. There's a few. Like I know there's like 1 or 2 in some random city in Mexico too.
And there's one in Glasgow and there's one in Valencia. I went to the one in Glasgow. I went like 4 times.
Was
You
it
have
nice?
to.
It was awesome.
That's awesome.
But it was just like, so you would go by Tim Hortons because they have the big glass windows, and you would just see like boxes of supposed to be frozen donuts just sitting there. Just like, I want, that
Yeah.
donut could be mine.
Yeah, those boxes of donuts could be mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you got back, and you didn't have a lot of trouble like coming back, it wasn't like super weird or anything.
What do you mean?
When you
Like when you came back to the States, I mean, sorry.
Like the transition?
no,
or like
well,
in the
yeah,
air, or
the
like in the airport.
just like getting back in general, and then you're here all of a sudden. And
It was weird.
Yeah.
It's definitely weird because it's just like I've been living on my own since I was like 18, basically, because I went away to school and I was working at summer camp, so I was just never really at the house. Like since probably 2013, the most time, besides this past kind of year, the most time I spent at home was like 4 months, and so it was just kind of weird to like be not in an apartment anymore. And also, like, I lived in Madrid, which is a major city. I lived in Sevilla, which is not a huge city, but still a city. And, like, living in Barcelona, it's, like, a major city. And even Syracuse, it's, like, a city. And now I'm just in the suburbs. And I was like, oh, this is different. And also, like, in Spain, you take the public transit everywhere. Here, there's None.
Mm-mm.
I didn't think about having to pay for gas or a car for 3 years, and I was like, this is sick. And then now I'm buying, $70 gas every 2 weeks. And it's like, this is absurd. How are we just letting this happen? And I think my parents are over my like communistic takes on pricing and like, because I'm always like, there should be trains. And they're like, we got you.
There should be trains.
Get me my trains.
There should be trains everywhere. Somebody get me my trains.
When it's like I have Obamacare right now for my medical insurance, and I needed some dental stuff, and it costs so much, and I was like, this should all be included. And they're like, bro, we get you, we understand, but what are you gonna do?
He's got the dentist is working on his teeth. He's trying to mumble. When I lived in Spain, I could get 6 X-rays a day, and it cost me nothing.
I could do anything over
I was
there.
a jabroni.
It basically.
Yeah. Before we get any fire, we should get into the who would win of the week.
Okay. I remember what it was.
That's what we call a transition.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're
he's
really
a great,
good at
he's,
him here.
he's a Segway king, that kid. The who would win of the week this week is Grimace, the purple McDonald's guy, versus Little Caesar, the Little Caesar's pizza versus it's Grimace versus Pizza. Pizza is a lot smaller than Grimace, and Grimace is pretty big. I don't know what his exact dimensions are, but
Can you find that?
Yeah,
he's looking it up.
that's what I'm on it.
The
Here we
thing,
go,
all
let's
right,
see.
so my feeling, Little Caesar's pizza guy always has a weapon.
yeah, he's got his spear.
So he's ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's Little Caesar's, which is exclusively marketed as not great pizza. So he knows what he's working with,
Okay.
He's a rags to riches story. He's had to work to get there. But then Grimace, look at him.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's a perfect argument right there.
I can't
Look
find
at
the
him.
dimensions on Grimace. Are we going
he
the
looks like a-
costume of Grimace though?
It's Grimace, man. You know
Yeah,
what
Well, no,
Grimace
I know,
is.
but
Or
like,
is it the guy in the
No,
costume?
well, obviously
Dennis
Grimace. Obviously, it's the
versus
real
Little Caesar?
Grimace.
Yeah.
But is the real Grimace the same size as?
Yeah,
the
probably,
Grimace?
or
Well,
maybe
then,
a little
then he's
bigger.
the size of a human. We'll call him 5'10".
but like a big
We'll call
guy.
him 5'11".
Oh, I think Grimace
We'll
is
call him
probably
6 foot.
at least 6'1".
We'll call
I
him
think a
6
good
foot.
Grimace
That
is probably
seems
at
fair.
least 6'1".
He's probably 6'1", 250.
Yeah, something like that.
He's got some girth on
Oh
him.
yeah, he's a hefty
He's
fella.
thick. He is a thick boy.
Does Grimace, because I know they did like a McDonald's cartoon back in the day.
See-
Did Grimace ever speak?
He doesn't look smart enough to talk. Like
No,
Grimace
right.
does look like a big lobotomized purple blob.
He
he's shifty.
what was the word? I read
Yeah.
this to you. He was they had it. I got it. Let me go back. Also,
Back
the Little
to the
Caesars
wiki.
guy, I don't think is as small as you think he is. I think he's a normal sized human.
I don't think so. I
no
don't think
way.
so.
He's tiny.
He's all head.
He's like 3. Yeah, exactly. He's like 3 feet, and he's got really.
He look at him in comparison to a pizza.
He's still small.
I'm looking at that one. That to me is the true.
that one.
The
That's
one
a,
true
that's a
Little Caesars.
different person.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's the
Yeah,
pre-politically
that seems like a
correct.
Yeah, that seems like a '90s version of Little Caesars.
I did not see that.
Matt,
one.
yeah, you don't want to. What is?
Yeah,
Little
but
Caesars
like-
with Hitler.
I don't know. I feel. What do you think?
The Little Caesars guy, I think he seems to have an endless supply of energy. So he's got
Well, he's
that
got
going
pizza.
for him.
Little Caesar.
He's got pizza,
yeah.
but he just seems like very quick. Like certainly he would run circles around Grimace, but I think Grimace looks like he's just so stupid
Yeah.
that
he is.
he wouldn't be. It
That's
wouldn't make
what
him
they
nervous. He wouldn't
That's
be
what they
affected by
describe
anything
Grimace
like that.
as is slow-witted.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me,
Slow-witted
it's
is
almost
not
it's almost a Princess Bride scenario. You know, the short king. You know who I'm talking about, the bald guy or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Who's very like
the kidnapper.
he's almost like over witty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's
but
pizza.
also Little Caesar.
Whereas Grimace would then be Andre the
Andre the
Giant
Giant, sure.
Yeah.
But Andre the Giant, let's not.
or Lenny.
Andre the Giant, not slow with
Grimace just wants to pet the rabbits, man. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
Grimace is just here to have fun. You know what? All right, I'm changing. I feel like as a fellow large person, I'm backing Grimace.
I think, Matthew, what you say about the rabbits and Lenny is how Grimace would be with the Little Caesars guy.
Yeah.
Like, he would think he's cute and pick him up
And
and
accidentally kill him.
Yeah, suffocate him. I think
Yeah?
that's what would happen.
I think Grimace. I'm back.
That is.
But I
just
want to say,
gave me
like, I
my
don't think
boy.
that the Little Caesars guy is necessarily that smart either. He can only say one word.
But that's why I
But so
compared him to
that's-
that guy from what's the Princess Bride, because
the inconceivable guy.
yes, because he like seems like he's so smart, like, but he's actually just like over like anxious almost.
But who's another character that we know that can only say 3 words? Groot.
yeah, but he
Groot.
speaks a language at least.
He says, I am Groot. He says pizza, pizza. He could be saying anything.
Yeah, there could be a
Dude,
pizza. Pizza
oh
might
my
be its
God.
own language.
I want to see a commercial. It doesn't have to be a full-length feature, but I want to see
him
like
just
at least a
speaking.
30-minute special that's just the Little Caesars guy and people are talking to him like Groot.
And he's just like, pizza, pizza.
Pizza,
Or
pizza,
yeah,
pizza,
like
pizza.
he goes back to his
What'd
home
you call
planet
That's-
and everybody pizza.
Also, all the Pokemon, they didn't speak, but they spoke.
That's true,
Pe-
but
and
they
Pika.
are. But that's like relative, I think, because they're like
I don't know.
animals,
She
you
said
know what I mean?
it said Pikachu,
Pika-
and Ash
Pika
was
Pika.
like, yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, but he
Yeah, you got. Yeah,
But-
you got it.
but
man.
it's
I,
the
didn't-
same-
I did not think about it.
That's
yeah,
a
but
good argument.
But that happens in Infinity War, right? Like when Thor first meets the Guardians of the Galaxy fellows, when they find him floating through space, and the raccoon guy's like, "You speak Groot?" Like like Groot says, "I am Groot," and Thor like responds to him.
All right. So
So maybe we just don't speak.
no,
pizza,
the
pizza.
little pizza
We don't
guy
speak
might
pizza.
be a genius. We don't speak pizza,
Yeah.
but Grimace, I mean, he's just so. I might go pizza.
I
Because
think
the speed. If he wraps around Grimace enough, then Grimace tumbles over. I imagine it's a turtle
Yeah,
on
Grimace
its shell.
Grimace has no ground
yeah, but
game.
I almost agree. I still almost agree with the Lenny take because
Yeah.
I think that Pizza probably does indeed think that he is much smarter, and he might be much.
That's
He
true.
definitely is smarter. How much up for interpretation? But I think that because of that, he would kind of allow, like, I think he has a little bit of Napoleon complex going on.
Wait, he's not big. He's literally called Little Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you really go, it's the size of a person. No, he's little. He's,
he's-
described
I see
as.
what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, so he is small.
He's not
But
bringing-
either way, I agree. I think that he kind of has, this ties into my point then. If he is indeed short, he goes a little bit Napoleon style, and he's a little overconfident, thinks he's that much smarter than him, and so when Grimace starts, acting dumb, like goes to pick him up and start petting him, he probably doesn't feel the fear that he should because he's overconfident in his ability, and then once he's in those grasps, he never gets out. And it's game over.
I think Little Caesar is gonna get a few good jabs in, but I think Grimace will take the W.
And it seems like one
Yeah.
of those things where Little Caesars might be kind of kicking Grimace's ass, and then Grimace gets off balance and falls over on top of Little Caesar, and that's how Little Caesar dies.
That's something like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Grimace on this one.
Yeah,
as well.
I think that's a clean sweep for
It's a
Grimace, and I
unanimous
like
Grimace.
Little Caesar. Yeah, no, and I came into this thinking there's no way I'd take Grimace, but comparing him to Lenny really helped me out there. Yeah, because I've read that book.
Oh, that's one of the ones you've read.
One of the 3.
One of the 3.
Yep.
My God. All right. Yeah, we'll lock it in. We'll lock it in for Grimace across
Grimace.
the board. That
So we'll
sounds
lock
good.
that in. Grimace, vote on that on Friday on our Instagram. Who would win of the week? Andy,
Yeah.
as we start to wrap it up.
Oh, are we wrapping up?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Unfortunately, listen, I know Emily wishes we could stay longer,
Uh-huh.
but tonight might be trivia night.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Last night.
Oh.
Did you win?
So we got all the time in the world.
Hey,
Fuck off. She lied. She made that up.
Looked up the answers on her phone.
Yeah, cheater.
What's the time looking like? How much we got? Are we wrapping up like it's over?
No, we got. I mean, can you see the clock? I can see.
No,
it.
I can't see the
I can't
clock.
see
I don't
anything.
care about the time, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew.
Don't put me on the spot here.
All right. So getting back to everything we were talking about before.
Yeah, what are your burning questions?
Well, just
What do you want to know?
when you
We're
got
wrapping up. You gotta ask the good questions.
Yeah, you 5, 4, 3.
Matthew,
Shot clock. I shot clocked your ass.
Do you want to talk comedy?
Yeah.
Let's talk comedy.
when you got back from the States,
Did
or
I
when
re-
you got back to the States,
Yes.
how long before you started going to Mike's?
That's a good answer, right?
Yeah.
I
That's a
got
grimace
back
answer.
on December 18th. Yeah, it is. I got back on December 18th, and then I probably started going to Mike's the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay, that's pretty quick.
Pretty much
Yeah.
right away.
Because I was like in Barcelona, I was getting up at least once a day, sometimes
Wow.
twice a day during the week. So I was doing like 4 or 5. Well, probably 4 or 5 times a week I was getting up and working stuff out. So I just wanted to keep going with that. And also like in Barcelona, like I knew everybody, so it was cool and all that stuff. But I knew coming back I was gonna be the new guy, which is just annoying to have to do. And so I went into it, and this is no shit talking on Buffalo, but it's just like American open mics are very different from European comedy mics. Because like in Europe, I started. The first show I did was to 65 people.
What the fuck?
Sold out. So
What?
like, yeah. So I peaked real early. And then all the shows in Barcelona, minus maybe 2, had at least 30 to 50 people at them. At the mics. So I was doing 5 minutes of not worked out jokes in front of an audience. And it's so easy to work stuff out in front of people because you're getting an actual reaction. But in America, because it's the same like in Chicago and New York, in Austin and Dallas and everywhere I've done the comedy so far, no one goes to the mics. They only go to shows. And so you're doing comedy basically like in Dallas, I did a mic and I was the 37th comedian out of 50. So it's like no one, there was maybe there was a people who I was staying with who came with me and maybe a handful of other folks. But that was it. It was just the other comedians.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I'll admit to it, like, when I'm at the mic, if I haven't gone up yet, I'm fully not listening. I'm not paying attention to anything else. I might be chit-chatting with somebody, but I'm still, like, thinking, what jokes am I going to tell? Am I going to change anything? What am I going to do? And so I'm not paying attention at all. Like, once I've gone up, I'm invested. But up until that point, I can't really think about anything else because you have to remember the beats, you have to remember the words, you have to remember everything that you're gonna say to an extent, so that when you get up there, you're not just like, oh, what's the deal with airplane food? You know, like it's such a repetitious.
Yeah, that's
that's adjacent.
Yeah.
Is that a word? You know, it's such a thing that like you can't focus on things. Like there's some comedians like that I've met that can chit chat and stuff before they go on, and like you can like talk about anything except for the comedy like that they're about to do. But that's people who have like with the jokes that I've done, because I've been doing not necessarily the same jokes, but working out the longer set. The majority of the longer set I've been doing long enough that I know everything. So like if I'm gonna go do that set, I can pay attention a little bit more to what's going on around me. But if I'm doing new stuff, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna say it. Or I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the angle I'm going to take. Or, you know, and you're also, like, reading the room. Because sometimes, like, if you're up, like, for the competition at Helium, I was up first on the finals day. So I was setting the tone. And it's also, like, I don't mind going first. I don't like it. I won't choose it if I don't have to. But it's so difficult because the host is going to go up and Liz did a great job. And Liz is a fantastic host, Liz Reeves. She's a great comedian. She went up and she did a great job. So she warmed the room up great. But there's been times that I've been on a show that the host doesn't warm up the room that well. So you're doing jokes to a cold audience. And they might not be super receptive to what you're saying. And so that's always tough. But like when you're kind of like, if you're in the middle or even if you're second, you can watch the guy go first and edit. And figure stuff out and like kind of tweak it so that it hits the room a little bit better.
Like, oh, this group really likes fart jokes. Let's
exactly
fart jokes. Yep.
The first set I did, all the jokes were garbage, but it went well. But then in Barcelona, the first set I did there, the second set, because the first set I bombed. But the second set, I had a whole set planned. And then watching the room, I was like, they're not going to like any of these jokes. So I just told a story that had happened to me recently about how I was living with a dog and I didn't know the dog. So this is going to be very grimace of me. I was living with a dog. It wasn't my dog. And I was walking to the comedy club because it was a few blocks from where I lived at the time. And I got a text in the group for the roommates, and it said, "Hey, guys, just so you know, the dog's on its period, and it'll last probably 3 to 6 weeks or something like that, however long they last. It's a long time." But then he follows it up with, "Watch out for blood." And I was just like, what? Because I grew up with cats, and I grew up with boy cats, so like I never had to experience that. And so at the mic that I was at, I was like, maybe I'll just talk about that. And so I talked about that for 5 minutes, and it fucking did great. And I was like, they wouldn't have liked any of the jokes I was gonna do. And it's that skill, it's that awareness of like, okay, you can go through and beat these jokes into them and see what'll happen, or you can just kind of edit and change it and do it. But like if you're up first, if you're new to the comedy, it's a task, and it's different here. In summation,
I could definitely see myself laughing at a dog period bit. Because I also just recently found out I had almost the same exact experience happen to me.
Dude, it's weird.
Like one of my roommates was when
Yeah.
female dogs aren't spayed,
Yeah.
they have periods. And
that's the thing. Most dogs in the States are snip snip.
Yeah.
Everywhere in Europe, they don't do it.
so it was kind of the same thing. And it was my roommate was watching one of his family members' dogs. None of us had any clue that dogs had periods. And midday, like, all of a sudden, like, everywhere you look, there's just, like, little drops of blood, like, all around the house. And
That's the thing, too. It's not like a waterfall,
Yeah.
but it's present.
Right.
It's like
They're
little
just
drops.
little hints.
And, like, we're like, what in the world is going on? We're all, like, checking our entire bodies, like, who's bleeding. And then they're like, well, maybe it's the dog. So they're, like, looking at the dog's paws. Yeah, they sell diapers that
Yeah.
you're supposed to put on your dog for when the dog's on their period.
Yeah.
Doggy diapers.
Yeah.
And it lasts weeks?
Well, a while.
Years,
Oh my
maybe.
God.
I don't
I was
know.
going to say.
'Cause
That's
we
how
were-
long, if cats have periods.
We were only
that's
with
how
the
long they gotta be.
dog. The dog was only at our house for, like, a week and maybe, like, 9 days. And we were told, like, yeah, like, the dog's period should almost be over. And the entire 9 days, like, every time whoever was watching the dog
Yeah.
thought that it was going to be over, would, like, and I would, listen, I love dogs. I'm a huge dog person. But, like, that was definitely one of those moments in my life where I'm like, not my dog.
Well, because it's also not consistent for 3 weeks. So it's like, you could experience the whole thing in 1 week, or it could be spread out. It's just like from the time that it begins to the time that it ends could be about 3 weeks.
I think we should start a veterinary podcast.
Dude, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
What's grosser, if you stepped in like dog period blood or like human period blood?
That's a disgusting question.
I think the answer is both.
But which one is more
Stepping
disgusting?
in blood.
I think any amount of blood that's on my foot is too much blood.
Okay, but like
Unless you're the one
but
bleeding.
like I would be
Even
more
then, yeah.
Even then.
I would be more like, what the fuck if I stepped in human shit than if I stepped on dog
Yeah.
shit.
Definitely.
Correct. But I think
Because
blood, I think the poop thing, because it would be more normal for a dog to do that in a house versus like you.
Yeah.
But like with blood's kind of an everywhere thing. You don't.
But
It just happens.
I still do. But I think for the same reason as the poop thing, the answer is still humans. And then I'd like to move on from this subject. But I'll explain why I say that first. Because like
Why you wanna
humans,
move on?
humans are humans. Like we are like conscious and we have
You heard it
opposable
here
thumbs
first.
and like we
Oh,
take
okay.
care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you're just like letting that, happen all over the house, it's like maybe we should do something about this. Whereas like the poor dog, the dog can't do anything about it. Like the dog's not going to
Yeah, the
slip its
dog's-
own diaper on.
And that's like their most vulnerable time too, because like in the wild, everything smells blood and wants to eat it. So like
Yeah.
the dog's not having a good time because the dog's
not
just like,
having fun at all. Yeah.
But comedy's cool. But comedy, it's one of the, it's very different. There's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences, but like the main difference is just like the fact that you get very comfortable in the silence at American open mics because it's usually other comics there. Like maybe 10 mics that I've been to outside of Buffalo. In Buffalo, it's hit and miss sometimes. But outside of Buffalo, there's maybe 10 mics that I've been to that I had like an actual audience at them, and it's cool. It's really cool when that happens because then
You're having
people.
fun.
There's people there,
Sure.
and it's a lot more fun than just talking to yourself in front of an empty room.
Yeah.
But at the mics in Buffalo, like, because they're at the main ones that I go to are like on Tuesdays at Nietzsche's, I don't know, the bar. Wednesdays at Milky's and Thursdays at Mr. Good Bar. You know, if you get there at the right time, there are people. If you get there at the wrong time, it's empty. So it's real. There's no consistency with it, which is fine, but it happens.
Yeah.
And you just learn how to do, and it really shows you, like, if you have, because the thing is, like, I have probably, a solid 15 minutes of material, but when I thought I had 15 minutes of material, I probably had 5, because I went on stage and no one was there, and I was like, okay, let's do my 5 minutes. I was like, oh, that was a minute. Okie doke.
Right.
Yeah,
You're forced to
it's
do
hard,
it by like time and
I
not
feel like
the
it's
real way
exactly,
by reaction.
exactly.
Fuck.
I feel like it's hard to judge the pace that you're talking at or that you're telling a joke when you can't base where you are in that story off that reaction.
Right.
And I also feel like if people are reacting, there's unplanned time in between, whether it be like not even always like a laughing type reaction, but like a shocked reaction, somewhere where you notice like, okay, that line grabbed somebody's attention, like we can hang on to it just a little bit longer.
Well, it's also like the same thing too, is like it's a double-edged sword. So like no people bad, too many people kind of annoying sometimes, because if you're doing it and you're hitting and you're murdering, it's messing up your pacing too, because they're laughing, and it's like, oh, okay, I have 10 minutes, but I've only done 5 of that 10-minute material because they're laughing too much.
Yeah, I know I'm here to make you guys laugh, but shut the fuck up.
I need you to cut it down a little bit. I want to get to these bits.
And
So
then
is that something you consider though? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's
I think
hard
you can't
to
bank
tell.
on it though.
Yeah.
Well, that's at the competition on Sunday. I had to do at least 8.5 minutes, a maximum of 10. And when I got on, and I happened to just be doing well, not like not tooting my own horn, but the people were laughing, and I was getting through different parts, and I was like, I'm gonna have to not do certain jokes because I want to get to the closer. I want to hit that beat. So I just kind of dropped a few things mentally, just so that I could still keep the through line and keep the narrative going and get to the closer, so that it makes sense. Because there have been times where, like, I've been at, not necessarily on a show, but like at a mic, where I'll be in the middle of a sentence, and usually the host will light you at 4 minutes so that you have a minute left. And I'll be like in the middle of a sentence, and they'll light you, and you're like, oh, this is more than a minute. What am I gonna? You have to kind of weave your way out of it so that it makes sense, and you're not just like
Scream out the punchline
All right.
and walk off the
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned
this is the bit I wanted to get to.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to stop right there mid-story. I got one more funny joke left for you
Come
guys.
see
I got
me
40
tomorrow.
seconds. Yeah. I got 40 seconds to tell it. So now I'm at 35.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, I think 3 places and 3 nights throughout the week that are open mics that you do go to. Is that a consistent thing? Or is it dependent on your schedule? Like, how is it every week you're on the mic, or are you kind of okay?
Yeah.
Do you have like a little bit of a schedule, or is it really just dependent on the week?
No, it's I luckily, because of the job that I have, I'm working on European time, so I'm working like 7:30 to 4ish. So I'm kind of done with the day around 4. I'll usually, hop back on a little bit later just to finish up a couple of things, but I'm pretty much done early afternoon. So all the mics start at like between 8 and 9, so I can usually get there without a problem. And like here in America, we eat dinner at like 5, 6. Because in Spain I would eat dinner at like 10.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So I can usually get to all of them. There's one every other week up at TC Wheeler's in Tonawanda.
Yep. Yeah, I've never actually been in the restaurant, but I drive past it almost every day.
It's nice. It's on Wheeler Street. TC Wheeler's Wheeler Street.
There's a
It's convenient.
brand new cat
Milton Cat
facility right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, across the street. I should
It's
say.
right off Main. I
Yeah.
think.
It's like, and it actually connects to Niagara Street. So like for you, for example, if you were driving to like from here to like Old Man River,
Got
you
it.
just
And then
go a little
there's-
past it and take a left.
there's Tudor Lounge, which is on Franklin, which I go to. I couldn't go for like a few weeks just because I had other stuff going on. and then I've been going back there. And then also there's one every other Friday at OSB Cider Works down on Main and like Genesee by Masuda Chow's. And that one, they're kind of changing the format of that one because they're mostly all sign up when you get there situations. But it's basically almost every day I'll be at one of those.
Gotcha.
Yeah, unless I'm doing a podcast or doing something else.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Comedy.
You gotta do it. You gotta get those reps in, pal.
Well, it's a muscle. Yeah, you have to work it out.
Yeah.
You have to keep doing it.
And I feel like that's how you get more comfortable doing what you were saying. You know, like not only being able to read the crowd, but say, okay, you know, just for whether it be time or just because you notice something while you're in your set, like let's get here.
Well, that's the thing.
How am I going to get here without it sounding too unnatural?
Exactly. And the other thing too is like in Spain, I got so used to performing in front of an audience that when I got here and there, you know, the first time there wasn't an audience, I was so uncomfortable with it because I didn't know what to do. And now it's like it's like, okay, now I know what to do in both situations. I know how to act, so I'm not just like, you know, just freaking out up there.
Dude, that's crazy. It just sounds so strange that that's what it's like over there. Just people coming out like that.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Really
cool.
But it does sound like there's a lot of there's enough places to get up around here.
Yeah,
which is cool.
There's definitely it's been nice to be able to continue working it out because like in Rochester there's a few, in Syracuse there's not many, so it was like,
oh really?
It was kind of one of those things where I was just like, I really hope there's something here because I didn't do comedy before when I lived here.
Yeah.
So I had no idea.
Yeah. People in Syracuse, they do not like comedy.
Is that a known fact?
Yeah, that's why they don't have any open mics.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
There's a club. There's a Funny Bone in Destiny USA at the mall, and that's it. There's like maybe one or two mics, kind of, in the week.
Really?
Yeah.
How big is Syracuse compared to
large?
Syracuse is like 110,000.
Oh, okay.
It's big enough. They got Cornerstone, Turning Stone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a casino.
It's a
though.
casino. Yeah, but
They won't have a mic there.
It's things where people go.
But they also have Syracuse
big enough to have
University
that.
and like
they do.
open mics are huge at college, but
right.
for some reason, even when I was out there, I don't remember seeing anything about it.
That's
They're
weird.
too busy.
It's a working. It's a
their
working class city though, so they're all. They're on like third shift. They don't want to go. They want to go to a bar to drink a beer. They're not going to go to a bar to hear me talk about how my hairline is bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not going to do that.
Yeah. That's a good bit though.
Yeah.
It's a good bit. It's one of my openers.
So I know because I've gone on there and seen you on Instagram, and you've got your YouTube linked on there, correct? Yeah. Are you posting a lot of YouTube content? Are you grinding on that? I know you're posting a lot of clips on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, it's just whenever I can film something, I'll film it. And then it's one of those things where like I've burned a few jokes by posting them on there. I'll still do a couple of them. But it's kind of a weird contention between comedians is like, do you publish something and then stop doing it? Or do you publish something and keep doing it? Because like Bert Kreischer put out the Machine story I think it was on the Rogan podcast, and then it was in his special, Comfortably Dumb. Comfortably Dumb.
It was in the Machine. Comfortably Dumb.
I think it was called Comfortably Dumb. Or is it called The Machine?
The Showtime one? The Showtime one.
There's whatever he did it for the first time on a special.
Okay. Yeah.
It might be called The Machine because I don't know.
You're asking the wrong guy. Bert Kreischer's hysterical, but I have no clue about it.
But he still does it. That's his encore.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's out there, but he's still doing it. But then there's some comedians that are like, once you publish it, don't do it. It's done. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I've been posting recently is just dumb little interactions I've had with crowd, like little crowd work clips and stuff like that. Because that's just like a throwaway. Like, I'm not going to do that again.
Those always seem to play well, too, though.
Yeah. Crowd work is...
Like, especially a couple years ago. That stuff started to get
always
serious numbers.
It always makes
Well, like Andrew Schultz and like Stavros Hockey is like, they're so good at it. And like Big J. Okerson. Like
Matthew just discovered Big J.
Yeah,
we went to the
Fully Loaded tour.
Loaded Fest in Rochester.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did you see him when he was at Helium last weekend?
No, but he texted me and said,
we
couldn't make it happen. He was so fucking funny because I think stand-up comedy is hysterical. Like I will.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I will watch it or I will go and see it, but I don't necessarily like sit there and consume it on a regular basis.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
It's just I watch a lot of sports. Like, and that's doesn't mean I like if I see clips or like TikTok. That's honestly where I see most stand-up comedy now is on TikTok because people post, their 2-minute
like
clips
Stavros
or whatever.
posts a lot. Sam Morril posts a lot.
Yeah.
Schultz posts a lot. And that's the thing is like before the social media boom, there was really, besides like an album or a Comedy Central Presents, there was nowhere for people to find your comedy. But now it's like, okay, every eye is a good eye. Even if it's somebody who doesn't like it, they're still seeing it, and they might, be like, "Oh, check out how bad this dude is."
Right.
Something
And
like
somebody
that.
else
As
might
long
like
as the
it.
number is going up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a good thing.
Exactly, because then it shows up on the other pages. It shows up
Exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so where can people find most of your stuff then? Instagram, is that the place to
the
go?
plug
This
portion?
is the plug portion.
Hey.
That was
That was
bad
smooth.
of you.
Yeah,
That
you're
was
welcome.
really good.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
At Max Kaczor across everything. Max Kaczor, C as in cat, Z as in zebra, OR, across every platform and YouTube. And then Storytime, the other podcast that I do, not the other one.
No, you're a part of this show now.
Welcome.
It's Story, Stoury. I just like doing stuff that's hard to spell, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a good name.
So I
it's
was actually going to ask, was there? Yeah.
That was
What
John.
was the origin of the spelling there?
John, full stop. No. John is a former touring musician for the band Traditional from Buffalo. And so I think at the start he wanted to just talk to musicians. And I think so far we've only talked to musicians. So like tour. Because it was going to be just tour stories, and then I was like, let's open it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think it's very important to have a good podcast name. We missed wide on that one, but
Two of the Coolers, good.
yeah. Yeah, look at us up there.
TITC.
Yeah, I do like the abbreviation.
TITC.
Titka? Yeah,
Titka.
Titka.
Like
Titka.
Titka.
Yeah.
Unless it's a C like an S, just tits.
There we go.
Welcome
Finally,
back to
this
this week
whole-
on episode of Tits.
The numbers would probably be pretty good. on
Yeah.
that, though.
Welcome back
Yeah.
to Tits and NT.
Yeah.
Jesus
Were we
Christ,
talking
you don't
about-
want to see those guys, man.
No,
They got a fucking stretched out tattoo. It was.
There was just before we do end. Since you guys are kind of close to here, the dock is like just over somewhere around here, right? For one of the docks, because I worked with a girl.
There's multiple in this area.
But is there a strip club near one of them?
The strip? Yeah, you could. You could
I'm not
walk.
gonna go.
right-
I'm not gonna
you
go.
could walk from here.
But I was told that one of the strippers there has one leg.
That's got to be true.
I would assume. I've
has
never
to be
been.
true.
I've never been in there,
No,
but
what's it called? Alexander's?
Alexander's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Dude,
literally right there.
I
Like if it's dark
have
enough
driven
outside, you
past
can
it
see it glowing.
so
yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
And then one time I was driving past it, and somebody was like, "Oh, there's Alexander's." It's just like a little. It's like
It's
a
like a
white
house.
shed.
Yeah.
It's just like a tiny white.
It's tucked
shed.
away.
It's nothing
And-
good.
and, like,
nothing
it
good
doesn't even
happens.
look
No.
open.
Well, that's the thing is
Like
there's
that's an abandoned building.
there's a lot going on in this area now, like restaurants and bars and stuff. Like, just I feel like in the past like few years, it's gotten
It's on the up and up.
busy here, and it's still tucked away back there.
That's not a on the promenade kind of place.
No,
That's
that's
off
a,
the beaten
that's
path.
that's the
yeah,
back alley. Yeah, that's a back alley joint for sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I
Thanks
had a
for
blast
having me, yeah.
in here chatting.
fun.
Go check all that stuff out. All of those pages that he just talked about will be tagged in our show description as always. It'll be on our Instagram all week. And man, it was awesome.
Yeah,
and
thanks, pal.
It's fun.
I never knew that comedy was such a big thing in Barcelona. Now I do.
It's
Maybe
huge,
now
yeah.
I'll finally get on that airplane.
No, you won't.
No.
God
No.
damn it.
He's afraid of it.
Yeah, petrified. Me and my warm water.
All right, you ready to go?
Yes, I love you, Andy.
I love you too, kid. Let's get out of here. Thanks, folks.